Hi, my name is Arni Rutikis, and we're here in my garden here in Irondale, Alabama, one of the Gulf states in the southeastern United States. As you can hear, the cicadas going, the sun's out. It's still a little warm, but it's getting cooler, and now's the time to start doing some things in the garden, and I'm here to show you what three of those things are. One of the things that we've been having lately have been some nice seasonal rains, and weather's getting a little cooler, which leads me to believe that it's time for lettuces and greens and that kind of thing. Early spring, late fall, or mid-fall is when you really want to kind of get your greens going. And this little patch right here, it's a very small space, but I've been able to put some compost out. And then right before the rains came 2 days ago, I threw out a bunch of seed. And this is a mixed green, kind of like a mesclun mix that you would get in a restaurant, you know, those fancy things with goat cheese and that kind of thing. This is something that you can put out now. It's already starting to come up, and we'll actually be eating on this in about 25 to 30 days. You can sow this thing repeatedly throughout the fall and into the winter, and you'll get some regrowth. You might actually get some seeding from the plants if you let them go. This little patch here is probably about 10 square feet, but it will produce at least 2 or 3 pounds of these little greens, so pretty prolific. One of the other things that I like to do in the garden this time of year, as it gets cooler, we still have a couple of warm months, is to divide things and make more of them. It's one way to kind of save a little money, but also to kind of grow or procreate some of the things in your garden that give you pleasure, you want to eat on, all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I really like is garlic. This is a garlic right here. You can kind of see the bloom, which is really pretty, so it's kind of ornamental. At the same time, this is actually edible. So something you can cut on, put it in a salad, put it in soups and that kind of thing. And I'm going to show you how to divide this, kind of make more of the same plant right here. So just come on over to the propagation area and I'll show you how to do it. Alright, this is a small little work area I've got in the garden. I've got a little tray here, and then I've got my little wheelbarrow with a soil mixture, and I use kind of a mix of a potting medium, a little bit of soil conditioner, and some compost. So the compost is going to help feed the plant once it gets in the container, so I won't have to do too much to it. Just kind of move the plant out of the container, get it in there. Kind of see the root system on this thing right here. It's really getting ready to kind of be too much for that container. It's already kind of like done what it can do. What I want to do is I want to locate the stems, and first thing I can do is just kind of use my thumbs, kind of get in there and just pry it apart. Some plants it's not so easy to do that, other plants it is. Once I've got one clump like that, I can still make more out of this plant. I can take these two, use that right there. What I'll do is I usually get clusters of 2 or 3 of these stems and just try and separate it like that. What that's going to do is it's going to allow the root system to have enough room to grow into the soil and get the proper nutrition. If I'd have left that alone in the container, it probably would have actually not bloomed and weakened the plant, so it might actually be more exposed to disease and that kind of thing. But right now, I just made 6 plants. Out of one plant, I've still got a whole cluster right here. So I've also got some soil that I can throw back into my mix. So I'm recycling as I go. Pick a container, probably about gallon or a quart. Pop it in there. Put a little soil in the bottom. Not too much. Pick one of the clusters. A lot of times I'll take off some of the roots out of the bottom of the plant. Again, this is just to encourage a little more root growth and tell the plant I want it to grow, I want it to do something. I'll stick it in the container, about halfway down. Get some more soil. Firm the soil around the plant. What you want to do, the reason you want to do that is because you want good soil to root contact. If you left it in there loose, it would take a while for the roots to actually get into the soil and kind of do what they're supposed to do. This way, the plant is already in contact with the soil and can start growing right away once you water it. And there you go. That's your plant right there. I've got 6 more to do. Again, looking for things to do in the garden. This is a perfect example of what you can do right now, this time of year. This rose will bloom pretty much twice, maybe 3 times a year if you cut it back and get it to kind of like resprout some growth. One thing I like to do though is I like to leave these stems on here from time to time, and it'll actually produce these what are called hips. Now, rose hip is something that's really high in vitamin C. You can make a tea out of it. You could dry them or use them as kind of edible. See, this one here is turning yellow, but it'll turn a deep orange you see back in here. So kind of orange red. that's when it's ripe to pick. And you want to kind of let those things get to that color. And I can pick them a little bit after that, and they're still good. So as long as they don't have a lot of fungus or moss on them, just it's good to go. So to prune this rose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way back to a bud, or a place where I want the plant to sprout out again. So what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to cut it back far enough to where it encourages regrowth, but it doesn't make it too cluttered in here. So I'm probably going to come in and basically, cutting it off at that point is going to encourage regrowth, give you a fuller plant, and who knows, we may actually get some rebloom this time of year. So those are 3 quick and easy tips you could try in mid-September. That'll give you a chance, and the plants, a chance to heal in and develop some strength, through football season and before the first frost comes. My name is Arni Rutikis, and if you'd like more information on any of these things we talked about or any native plants, check out stoneshovel.com. Thank you.